Resurgence on the red to start things off. It is going to be the Zoe ban away from Raven, and the Galio actually not being available for Nesty.
Yeah, I mean, such a massive respect towards Nesty, as again, this Galio is 5-0 on the record, and that means, you know, future picks such as the Twisted Fate will be another contested pick, possibly as JT will move towards removing Epic's Nidalee in the jungle.
So no Nidalee there for Epic. I'm interested, do they let that Trundle go on through for Hana, or are they expecting to try and take that one away from Epic as they both share the jungler? Meanwhile, it is going to be that set being locked away by Resurgence.
And again, another enabler for that utility position, which, you know, we've seen set so many times in the mid lane as, you know, Taipei JT removing Karma. So a lot of these flex picks at least being removed. And
we could see it. We could see it. It was locked in, I believe, the other day over in LJL. We have seen it pop up, but no, they're just playing with our hearts here, Riku, as it's going to be the Aphelios getting locked in.
I mean, we're talking about Nesty here. He played the Yasuo back in spring against Raven and unfortunately got crushed by Raven's Renekton. But yes, it's going to be the classic. Could be the Ashe Aphelios classic bot lane.
I am not going to be happy if this gets locked in and we get a misfortune. You heard the sigh of disappointment come out of Riku, everybody over in chat. The misfortune has been extremely lackluster in summer, and it was always a crutch for a lot of these bottom placing teams.
Yeah, it's one of those comfort picks, especially back at spring where misfortune has been spammed many, many times. It's just one of those things where this will work if you are able to safely scale and have a good positioning from that bullet time. But anyways, you know, back to the Trundle again for Hana. If he can't get his power farming jungler, then he's gonna go fall back into that Trundle.
And he's actually the only one saving the Trundle win rate when it comes to the PCS. I do believe almost half of the victories have come off him. And same with Woody when it comes to the Nautilus pick. These have been both kind of those niche, I say niche, they're both meta, but both selective personal picks for both of these players that have worked well for Taipei J team, as it is going to be answered by the Leona here for Boxer.
Yeah, it seems to be the trend nowadays as they're going to be, you know, Thresh is out of the table. That means Leona would be the next fallback as Nautilus has been locked in. But RSG forming a little bit of the standard, and so far, though, Volibear has been spammed as well by RSG, but unfortunately, whether or not it's being placed at top or jungle has still failed to see any sort of success.
Yeah, unfortunately, last time we saw the Volibear out of the top lane for Shinsekai, arguably, he did lose out to the shopkeeper, unfortunately, as he went for this kind of grab bag build, and we didn't really see the Volibear ever come online the last time it was used by Resurgence. Maybe we get to see Epic in the jungle for it. Starting, though, mid lane is going to be banned out here quite heavily toward Nesty as they get rid of the Syndra as well as the LeBlanc and then lock in that Orianna.
Yes, so much respect again for Nesty, and it's due to the fact that they do want a comfortable lane for Raven. But after I said it's not going to be a niche pick from Raven this time around, but it's going to be very standard, very heavy team fight as they've locked in the Orianna. Meanwhile, for Taipei J team, still missing out on what Nesty is going to be picking up, and as well as for Rest in the top side of the map.
Oh,
it's
baby!
Okay, mid.
We get ourselves a new coming out. Believe that is going to be going into the mid lane for Nesty. First time getting to see it over here in the PCS.
This is actually very, very interesting. Again, we haven't seen that ever in towards the PCS. Not sure if Faker brought it out already back in the LCK, but it seems to me this is such a very heavy magic wombo combo composition, and you do have that typical fallback on towards that Aphelios.
And do see here is also going to have that Kennen getting locked in for Rest. There's still that team fight option. And then for Resurgence, it is going to be the Jace getting locked in for likely now Shinsekai in the top lane, meaning the Volibear going into the jungle for Epic.
I'm excited to see this work because when we last saw these two teams where RSG is able to get the upper hand, it was spring and it was Raven going ham. But this time around, he's on this Mariana. He's not going to go ham. He's going to go ham with his teammates later on once he's able to build a couple of items to have more impactful shockwaves, and hoping to see whether or not Shinsekai will be able to get ahead on towards this Jace. I am looking forward to their team fight, but looking towards Taipei J team, I like the Nunu mid. I love how they're experimenting at the moment, but at the same time, bottom side of the map still playing standard.
So there you go. We'll see whether or not, Nesty can try and make for those big roams. They got rid of the Galio that could easily just do it with the point and click, ultimate out of the hero's entrance. This time around, though, he's going to be rolling the snowball down toward that bot lane, maybe up toward the top lane, and maybe try and making his impact on the map. I'm excited, though. We get to see ourselves our first Nunu mid of summer coming out from Taipei J team. Again, top of the standings going up against the bottom Resurgence. Need to find an upset. They need to find victories all the way to the end of the regular season to even have a shot at playoffs, and it starts here as we load on into the round. Already Snowball coming out, looking to set up a bowling pin. Oh no, Shinsekai! He gets caught out immediately into a dredge line! And oh baby, begin the party! It's first blood for Taipei J team.
I cannot believe that it actually worked. I mean, it was, a 50-50 sort of thing, but Shinsekai was in the right position, actually, was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and J team, they're going to be happy with that first blood.
All I can say is that's going to be one for the clip reel here as in comes the bowling ball full speed. And poor Shinsekai has nowhere to run.
Nowhere to run. Would even using a flash to get that dredge line in for the easy kill. Shinsekai still gets to keep his flash just in case Nesty gets a second visit towards top side, especially if Hana also does the same thing. I can tell Nesty every single time, it's the last round robin. We're going up against Resurgence. Nesty's gonna have some fun.
And not a halfway bad way to start off your game here if you're on the side of Taipei J team, as I don't think Shinsekai was expecting that. In came the bowling ball of the Nunu. And you already see him gonna go ahead and get some vision on down, trying to track Epic through his jungle.
I'm sorry, I keep giggling, because whenever I see Nunu, it just makes me a happy person. Now he's just rolling some snowballs just to try and clear some wave. And, yeah, this is absolutely... I feel like Raven did not expect this matchup, I suppose. Again, was Nesty that picked the Yasuo, the first ever and only Yasuo back in the PCS spring. So we'll have to see how this pans out even more when he creates more impact in the side lanes.
Yeah, we're going to be looking to him making those roams later on, like you just mentioned. I'm interested. All right, Resurgence, sure. Things didn't go out the way exactly you planned. It's a quirky pick. Anything along those lines. What is going to be their game plan here for Resurgence? What are you going to be trying to do to at least calm down this storm?
For Resurgence, definitely is able to create high impact plays. With that, never mind. If Epic be bothered in his own jungle, it's going to be very difficult to create impact for top lane.
There's the bot lane play coming out here from Resurgence. I like that. Unfortunately, I don't like the root coming out from Lil V, as that's going to try and turn this one back. Quake also going to get tagged up, and in comes another root from Woody onto the 80 carry. Boxer goes back on in. It's a double exhaust on both sides. Is it enough damage? No, it's tragic. No. Nothing goes in their favor. Meanwhile, mid lane, Nesty jumping on in. Ignite taken away. It is just a club coming down from Hana.
What is happening? And I was a little bit worried for Quake that he might be the next one to fall, but that is unfortunate. Resurgence spent all of their summoners just to see whether or not they can fully commit and finally eliminate Lil V. It was a very back and forth kind of deal at the bottom side of the map, but it was Taipei J team coming up on top, even managing to get another kill in the mid lane.
So now it's going to be a 3-0 start for Taipei J team, almost a 1,500 gold lead of Nesty. Don't do it. Don't be mean. Oh, he's setting up, but let's take a look down toward this bot lane as we had a bunch of action all across the map.
So it was Resurgence having to start that off. Okay, good. You managed to burn that cleanse off of Lil V, but the re-engage from Woody really did it. RSG wanted to back off, but this was the problem. Quake was just too far off for any sort of additional, damage to finish that off, and the exhaust did well enough so for Lil V to still survive a little bit more. And unfortunately, Raven having to use all spells already as the flash, it's still no escape from Hana and Nesty having to just club their way to Raven's death there.
So now Raven going to try and do what he can to try and survive what Onslaught's going to, just Nesty, just going to keep on doing it. This is the first time for me to actually see a Nunu, and you're probably wondering, why is Nunu mid actually getting so popular? Well, a bunch of buffs came through from him in the most recent patches. Overall, his damage went up something around 15-20% when it came to neutral objectives as well. So it just allows them to consistently set up wombo combo after wombo combo. Oh, it's not even okay. It's starting to get a little boring here, Nesty.
He's having fun though. Definitely having fun. And the thing is, they can rinse and repeat, and because, Trundle and as well as, Nunu at this point of the game, at least, is some sort of little bit tanky, can possibly tank maybe one turret shot to be able to be comfortable attacking Raven, even though he's under his own tower. And now, Taipei J team.
And in we go once again. Get the jump here onto Woody, and there you go. Resurgence are able to get their first kill on the map. So there you go. A little bit of a boost back into the confidence, because overall, when you talk about Resurgence so far, there has been confidence issues when it comes to this team. We saw it back when Crow was coaching the team back in spring. He even mentioned, he likes to excel and he likes to try and get players with confidence issues to open up. He has since left the team, and now Jensen has had to take on over, and we're starting to see some glimpses of good play out of them, and oh no. They're starting it again.
Teleport?
There's a teleport coming in from Rest. He's got that level 6, and he goes slicing Maelstrom onto 4 members. He doesn't do any damage, but it doesn't matter because the rest of Taipei J team come along down to join in on the party. And there you go, Dragon back in favor of J team.
Massive value off of that ward. Massive value. Having to teleport in the best position possible to stop RSG's retreat, because they wanted to go. They wanted to escape, but unfortunately it did not happen. And at the end of the day, RSG didn't get the Infernal. That pillar, the presence of Hana itself pressured them enough, and Rest just beautiful stun, even though without damage, the stalls for the rest of J team to finish them off.
And already you're seeing, level 6 Kennen. This is a very accelerated game style coming out from Taipei J team. Not afraid to pull the trigger. And, we wanted to see those key lock-ins, this Nunu to come online, and oh no. Oh no.
Shinsekai!
He's doing it again. Shinsekai knows what's coming. Oh. Nesty can't make the corner, though, with the snowballs. He'll head back into mid lane.
Yeah, unable to drift, and the Shinsekai will be safe, especially he still has managed to hold on to his flash after quite a while. And for Nesty, and as well as for Rest, definitely still waiting for, that Proto Bell at least to have a little bit more of a gap closer into the fights later on, especially in the objectives. And again, you asked earlier, what can RSG do? If Epic has enough space to create impact at top side, maybe get Shinsekai going, that's going to be great. Especially RSG's, the rest of the lanes have to be stable, not die, survive this Nunu's presence in the mid lane and more impact in the side lanes later on. And once Quake is able to get more items,
oh my god, the Empire comes through! A ticking time bomb. And a great play coming out here from Taipei J team with Nesty. Have you ever seen a level 7 Nunu absolutely destroy a Leona in the first 10 minutes of a game?
Yeah, Boxer's HP just disappeared there, and he didn't know what he was walking into, unfortunately. There was no vision, and Woody even stuns him there's a really long channel, and with that said, because of that, RSG has no access to the Rift Herald nor contest whatsoever.
And on top of that, too, you got this Aphelios that's starting to get turret plating yourself. And that's your late game policy here for Taipei J team. If we get to the late game as... Oh, Hana. Oh, Res, you didn't need to do this to the poor man. He's got nowhere to run. Shinsekai underneath his tower. Flash on forward from Hana. He's on a killing spree, and this is what we expected of this matchup. I'm just a bit disappointed here that we aren't seeing anything else, as that is going to actually be a pause called here, as I do believe we have a mic issue.
Yeah, top side, again, for Shinsekai, having to create impact for Shinsekai, but unfortunately it is Hana and as well as Nesty making moves around the map for RSG to try and scramble around to pick up the pieces. They're not able to stabilize just yet, and then you see Hana visiting top side once more.
Yeah, he's just kind of going up there, and he's like, hey, Shinsekai, you're a Jace, just so you know. I'm just going to camp you at this point. This is, again, reminder, if you guys are just joining us, maybe you only just joined us at the beginning of this game, this is very much our bottom of the table going up against the top of the table. Let's take a look toward the standings so you guys have a little bit more context. At the moment, Taipei J team, they were starting off at the top of the leaderboard when it came to the start of the day. But then, of course, AHQ were able to find their victory. But Taipei J team actually have 2 games today. And the first one is up against Resurgence, as you can see, only has that 1 win so far.
And it's very tough to look at, because when we look at Resurgence's performance back at Spring, they're able to at least garner a 4-win streak at the second round robin, and now unfortunately still having to have a foundation at least coming into the round robin, and they're finding difficulty. Taipei J team used to be at the bottom with them back at the round robin spring standings, but now it's totally different. Taipei J team is at first place.
Yeah, and that's the thing here, too. Like, there is some good parts here at Resurgence. Half their games are able to find First Blood, able to find, First Tower. They're able to get some impact onto the map, but control is relinquished almost within 10 minutes of the game getting underway. So, again, it comes down to just what feels like a complete gap in terms of just team coordination as well as fundamentals with a lot of the other squads in the PCS.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. And you did mention, the confidence issue as well coming from Resurgence. And they were confident when they faced Taipei J team back at Spring. I think it's due to the fact that they're together in the bottom of the standings. But now it's different. And especially such an interesting pick as well that caught them off guard. Therefore, I feel like they have to watch out for Nesty every single time. And as well as Hana together with him. And they're unable to create impact off the map. At least they have some sort of fallback policy with their composition. They're great with their 5v5s if they manage to get key shockwaves. You combo that with the bullet time and the solar flare. So they have those in the equation. But the question is, will Taipei J team even allow them to reach that point?
Well, we are going to go ahead and take a quick break. It looks like our tech issue is going a little bit longer than we should, so you guys hopefully can enjoy some of our side content with actually Hanabi and Wako as they go over some good comments.
今天我们要来录就你最浮夸，我就看你多浮夸。
非常熟吗？
很熟啊，高雄人怎么能不熟？
那我要先请你可以开对的。
可以啊，我知道他一定会接受。
你又知道了，
他的话肯定很恶心啊。
那我猜不到怎么办？
你的智商我能同意。
你再说一次。
你的智商我能理解。
你再说一次。
你直接关你了。
第一个。 人帅，长得又高，打游戏又强，每年拿冠军。要是能重来，我要当家强。虽然走路会低油，可是不影响我对他的崇拜，就像是夜空中的萤火虫一般，那么耀眼。
这肯定观众写的啊。
第二个，即便赛区合并电狼解散，狼魂依旧不灭总决赛。中山拼尽全力，连1/5个电狼还是打不赢狼王，带领塔隆获得总冠军。
这个也是观众写的。
第三个。 安娜碧眼镜歪掉，怎么可以这么帅？简直是新一代时尚潮流之父。
这个就是你写的。
塔隆能够招揽到这么厉害的上路太原，真是太棒了！没想到泰国也有这么厉害的上路选手。
这个就是他写的。第一个 PCS 法师怪物 ，Wako 的 AD 真的很风骚。虽然现在版本的 AD 很卑微， 但每次在场上操作的时候还是非常有影响力。希望之后能在 PCS 打出一片天，拿到世界赛的门票，打出自己的生涯代表作。
这一定不是你写的，不可能，不可能。
第二个，挖口的单人线竞争力实在没话说，跟他百变的发色一样狂野，每次的访问影片都尬到笑，是个很做自己的人。第三个，挖口你的头发真的太帅了，可能是因为你顶着这个头才这么猛，下次也要跟你染一样的。
都不像你说的很多啊，什么东西？
他那边你觉得哪一个？
第三个，自己写。
我猜第三个，因为其他两个没那么凶的感觉，感觉都是粉丝会讲的。
我跟你一样的道理，你这前两个也肯定是粉丝写的，吹得太那个了。
那互相公布一下。
错了，
真的假的？那你对了，
我对了，
对对，最后怎么会出马太夸张了？
哎，
我错了，
猜我是哪个是我写的？
那应该第一个。那我觉得是第一个啊，那小米会写的吧？
我乡民啊，怎么样？
谢谢观众的投稿，我们也会继续加油。新的赛季也请支持塔龙，
还有 HQ，也请继续关注 PCS 粉丝团哦。
拜拜。
J-Team，
我是中路 Kobe，
我是 AD 小 V，
我是达雅哈娜，
我是上路瑞斯特，
我是辅助雀巢。那我们开始吧。Do you know me？
I know you, I know you want me to, but you guys are like love.
那 Kobe 的答案我都不能答，忘记。
第一题 KURB 在季后赛中获得了第一次 MVP， 请问上场的2场比赛中各玩什么角色？
廖明玉，我会回答，我有认真在比赛的。好，第一场是玩阿切尔吧，然后第二场是玩阿卡丽，因为被单杀被越塔，我印象很深刻。
你都不是 MVP。
KURB 在季后赛中取得1胜1败的成绩，请问季后赛的总击杀数为多少？
无理。
其实是这两只英雄的第一个字一样。
这两只英雄第一个是一样的。
哎，你讲错了吧？
它上面写的，
你说那个，你这个是第一题的提示，我听得出来。我要第二题了。
我赔3。8。
你要讲明。对啊，廖明玉，我猜是6啦
，6到10，8
吧
，8到10。
廖明玉，我要猜
看我了吧。
好了，
答对了。
不要欺负瑞斯特，让他猜一下。
没差，我没差。
换小 B，你跟他换个位置。
第一题是小 V 在春季例行赛使用了5次伊泽瑞尔，请问他第一次上场玩克里斯塔使用的造型为什么造型？
那个爱引导。
错，他是我偶像哎，我使用偶像的。回答很少。
陈江，SKT T1 变的造型。
没错，答对了。请问春季赛的总击杀是多少？我知道你们不会，我先提示你们，我好心一点，50到100吧。
50到100，
有那么多？
陈江我要猜69。
有那么多？69。对啊。50到69。
64。
哎，你很会猜耶。就这么刚好是64，
太强了。
那也没办法，给你一个贴纸。啊你，
请问季后赛最后一场玩了哪只英雄？
我现在许保远，我要猜赛特，是赛特吧？
对吧？是赛特啊，那就好了，贴啊。
给我贴纸，
太强了吧？
是赛特就给我贴纸。
这2把都是一样。
一直送头。
在 PCS 节目中，多点同理心中，雀巢曾被谁称赞觉得比自己队友还强？有没有在看节目啊？啊，是哦。答对了。哇！没有，你上次有讲啊。他之前对我跟你讲过，自吹的。什么自吹？
那你有看节目吗？
我有看吧。
看吧，感觉我要下去了。
下去哪里？
惩罚。
是一个贴纸。
不会有惩罚吧？
但是一样，所以输的不会有惩罚。
我跟你讲，
啊，为什么这样子？
没关系啊，
因为他真正
新人就是要接受惩罚。
我不知道
嘲讽的吗？
潜规则你知道吗？
哦，我在春季赛中总共打了18场比赛，请问第一支使用的英雄为什么？
10万年。
哎，怎么那么会猜？
啊，就那场你就没屁用了。
哇，你只送。
我就记得那场
对啦，
跟中路联动，
太换
高中是谁？
塞尔斯啊，那个
我啊，赛德斯啊。
基人全空包怎么？
请问我在春季赛总助攻数为多少
陈志豪，我要猜，先说70，
？70到150，
101，
101到150。
87。
哦，101到150了，怎样？
101到150。哦，抱歉，
头有点痛。
106到110哦，108啦。
可惜啦，106到108。
那个真正我要猜107，
你中了。
碎啦！
所以你助攻那么多，
好，你这个那么多，
我也不想那么多。
代表没有击杀。
那你
我不算准。
瑞士的在季后赛的 KDA 为2，请问春季赛最后一场是玩的哪一支英雄？季后赛啊，讲错了。
克雷德。
好，算你对了。请问瑞士特在春季例行赛中2-4的胜率为何？是啊
直，接我要猜。
我要猜。
哎，我已经
那你先。
0，答对了。
我就是要猜0呢。
就0啊，没赢过。
科比没有。
对，我们平手哎。
3，
我3啊。
你在搞怪。
还是那个，反正前面都靠赛，最后一题就4分这样啊，他也有机会赢，反正都要加了，
感觉对，有机会。
对不对？
这样他这样有逆转，不然他玩不到。
对啊，
他玩不到游戏。他已
要
经
关怀新人。
瑞士特在春季赛中最常使用的英雄是什么？
学姐我的，
哎，他先猜。
雷尼克顿，
哦，可以，又对了。
我要猜这
等一下，
鳄鱼。不是哎，
你为什么让他赢了？
这样感觉害到自己，因为我2分，
进惩罚了。
我有2分。
你2分，
你2分，那2个一起惩罚。
科比，你这样就低。
看出什么？
秀泰影城的电影票，团体的4张，哇哦，4张，这是什么？哦，5张，
我还以为那个，
不是，刚刚以为，
我还以为要挑4个人呢。
不是啊，刚刚在连在一起，
我以为制作单位故意要那个
这么狠
分裂我们一个人。
他说，那你要跟哪3个队友去试战？
水正说谁？
我跟瑞士特。
如果今天有新科技的发明同性可以繁衍后代，但是你现在选择 PCS 的品种，你会选择谁来繁衍后代？
要求哎，好，我直接讲，哈纳比啊。
哦哇哦，
哈纳比，
就很喜欢他，对，
就很喜欢。Oh
你
my！
们私底下是很熟？
很熟，因为之前就很常打比赛嘛，然后私底下有一起出去吃饭。
你不是会去他家吃饭？
他家
对，
去他家玩游戏。
之前有去过他家。
对啊，感情很好。
没有。
不要跟我讲这么多。
我知道。
只能选我们赛区的哦。
对啊。
可是不行哎，我的心中只有一个人。我没有办法选出我们赛区的人，因为我只对佛哥有感觉而已。没办法，太爱他了。
爱到要哭了。
请继续支持 JT，
持续锁定 PCS 官方粉丝团。
拜拜，拜拜。
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. As we get set now, I do believe we will be getting ourselves set, locked, and loaded onto the Rift for our game. In between, of course, Taipei J Team and Resurgence as game word. Now, there we go. There's our game audio. We had a little bit of instability, a little bit of ping issues here and there, but it looks like we've been able to sort it out, and we're back in onto the Rift.
Yeah, excited to see more of some new action from Nesty, but at the same time, excited to see as well whether or not Resurgence is able to weather this storm, because it's been a tough early game. So far, 8 kills already for Taipei J Team on the board, and Hana has been going as he's 3-0-3. Alongside with him is Nesty with 2-0-3 as well.
Yeah, he's become the new monster at this point, as poor Raven, every time he comes into lane, usually a snowball's being thrown directly at him, and he has to either find safety and usually Hana's nearby to prevent him from going anywhere safe. As you take a look at the gold lead, it is a 4,000 gold lead at only 10 minutes.
And that is a pretty significant lead, considering the fact that most of the time, around the 10-minute mark, around the 10 to 15-minute mark, usually it's still maybe 1K gold lead as teams have been trying to still try to catch up. But again, for RSG bot lane, they try to be aggressive, it didn't pay off, and Lil V is still able to stabilize and is ahead in CS over Quake.
So we'll see whether or not, Resurgence, we can start to see some plays come out of that combo that we saw a little bit earlier on where, Boxer and Quake can try and make something go. And these are the fresh faces to the team, but see already, Taipei J team already getting down their vision in toward that dragon, and Resurgence a little bit late on their back timing means Taipei J team should have full control of the bot side of the map, as well as Shelly being laid down here to get even more gold into Lil V.
Yeah, that's a bunch of funnel gold on towards Lil V, so having to attack 2 different win conditions. So Lil V, again, will be that backup plan, but so far so good for the rest of the map as Nestia getting early game kills, Rest as well having to stabilize himself, and it's a 2 birds in 1 stone kind of thing, because you also shut down Shinsekai, which is, again, as a Jace, you have to get ahead if you want to pick this pick.
He can't get ahead because you can just see the damage that comes out of Rest already, having that Proto Belt completed. Cooldown reduction online, 2-1 and 2 now as poor Shinsekai 0 and 4 in top lane.
Even dabbing with a little legend there, and it's been tough because, again, Epic wasn't able to create impact for Shinsekai at top side and have him a comfortable lane just because of the duo. Hana and Nessie have been really creating chaos in the mid lane and the rest of the map. And because of that, Hana will be comfortable leaving Rest on his own. He has a Proto Belt, not needing for the flash at all for, having to activate that Slicing Maelstrom. And Shinsekai has to go back to lane thinking, I have to be safe and make sure that doesn't happen again.
And I'm starting to get a little bit concerned here now, too, because you do see the first 2 item backs of your AP builders. You have a Magi's on both the Kennen and Nunu as the second item.
Yeah, it works well. I mean, that's how confident Rest and Nesty is, and you can't blame them because the first 30 minutes of the game has been good type of chaos in favor of Taipei J team, and again, they can just walk to a lane, and then their presence is enough for RC to respect that and back away.
Some respect here from Resurgence, but some of these lanes that needed to get online, unfortunately now have to group up together, and this gold lead is only climbing faster and faster as this game goes, as it's now going to be a 6,000 gold lead as Nesty is going to be able to take down that tower. Literally, it's just bells being thrown. It's jolly, Nesty, on his conquest to destroy all the objectives on the map.
Exactly, just having to do a little nudge on the objectives. And yeah, I mean, we did mention 5v5 is very strong for RSG because you have that shockwave, you have that solar flare and bullet time, but if Nesty is able to get a prime position for his absolute zero to work, brushes will be very, very key, and positioning is going to be very, very key. As a Misfortune, you're not an Ezreal that you can have an arcane shift to back away from safety, and you'll be very vulnerable. And for RSG, this is definitely not the start to set up for objective fights at all.
Especially with the fact that Quake was down 3 levels, only now down 2 in his matchup, as well as Infinity Edge online for Lil V. He's up 40 CS. You saw the turret plate that came up earlier. It's almost 2,000 that was secured by Taipei J team. For me, my question is for Taipei J team, how fast are you going to close out this game? You got yourself a 7,000 gold lead. Show me a high-level team that isn't messing around and is going to lock this out immediately.
Yeah, even though, they wanted to, Galio is out, Twisted Fate is out, Nesty chooses Nunu mid instead. And with that said, having to keep scaring off the laners. And it seems to me, yes, they are continuing to get the objectives as soon as they are on the map, and having to destroy objectives one by one. Top down, now mid lane is gone, and therefore the inner towers are the only ones left next for the taking, as Rift Herald still kept intact with Hana.
So there you go. All 3 outer towers taken here by Taipei J team, and they still have a Rift Herald Eye if they want to crack that themselves. Rest is just going to meet down to the bot lane up against Shensekai and can solo kill him pretty much at any point, as we just saw already. Yeah, I'm a bit concerned here. Next Dragon's also going to be a minute 20, and that should be another go time here for Taipei J team, where Resurgence, I don't really know how you get back in this one.
The thing about RSG is that what they can do is try to bait out key ultimates such as the Slicing Maelstrom, such as trying to remove the Absolute Zero, but it's just so hard to escape these key ults, especially if you have access to that Proto Belt, if you do have at least that space as well with Rest. And repositioning wise, it's very hard because you're a Misfortune, you're a Orianna as well. Not a lot of mobility or dashes available for you, as Shensekai is going to be in trouble again.
Here comes Rest, looking to hunt him on down. Shensekai, he just clears out the wave and starts running, pops the emote, but guess what? You're on the wrong side of the map, as Rest is still hunting him down. And this is just cyberbullying at this point. Rest knows what he's literally dabbing on him, as poor Shensekai can't do a single thing. And it doesn't end there. In comes the big, oh, no, and they just bring it on in. It never gets old. In comes the Absolute Zero, gets interrupted. 3-man shockwave into the bullet time, though. Comes out from Resurgence. They actually turn back a fight. There is some hope here for the Singapore-based organization. Hana's going to likely get taken down. And a big misstep here from Taipei J team. Nets Resurgence, 4 kills in the jungle.
And that's, stacks lost from Nesty's Medjais. That is also, a bunch of shutdown gold in favor of Resurgence. This is, again, what they need to do. They have to fight as 5s and get the wombo combo in, and it's great. And I feel like it all started here in the mid lane.
It goes back to this mid lane. I'm sorry, did I just see Rest TP to safety just for Shensekai to TP to try and stop him? I don't know what this top lane shenanigans are, but yeah, we go back here. It's just full engage coming out from Taipei JT. Maybe a little bit too deep.
Too deep, and again, this is where Resurgence's comps shine, especially if you don't even have the Jace. This, the Shockwave, the Bullet Time, the Solar Flare, they all work together hand in hand, and definitely Epic will be that bonus with the Volibear ult, and it's going to be easy cleanup, especially if you just remove all key ults from Taipei J team. That is the time for RSG to just fight back.
I'm just saying, that wombo, that is actually one of our more cleaner wombos we've had this week. So that does, get some shutdown back over into RSG's back pocket, and what was looming to be an 8,000 gold lead now gets shrunk down to about 5,000. So again, small victories, and they are also able to secure their first dragon of the game.
Every time I look at Shensekai and Rest in their little adventure in the bottom side of the map.
They're having too much fun with each other. I'm just saying, these guys have like a romance going on or something where, they are just, they're throwing emotes left and right. They're getting cheeky. Rest is still 2 levels above him. Shensekai's trying to do this again. This is literally solo queue in a nutshell. There's nothing Shensekai can do in this. He's now on his 6th death, and Rest is doing just crunches.
Oh my, oh dear. And yeah, Rest is out of control at the moment and building more stacks on towards his Medjais. Shen has even a stopwatch. So if RSG decides to try and punish that out. But again, you cannot separate the 3, Raven, Quake, and Boxer. They need to always be together, and you do need that additional meat shield from Epic. Therefore, if they want to invest resources to save Shensekai in the side lane, it's not going to bode well.
In comes that bowling ball from Nesty as in comes Epic trying to jump in onto Lil V. That's going to be a solar flare as well. Boxer in on top of him, and they take down the Aphelios. Maybe try and find some more as now Woody limping back over to safety. Raven not able to use the shockwave, already had it popped, and still looking to hunt down Woody, and he will find it as Taipei J team getting a little bit too cheeky themselves. And a nice call coming out from Resurgence.
Yeah, I love the confidence still from RSG. It seems that, after that win, after that fight in the jungle, they managed to regain some composure and solidify that, okay, as long as we're together, we're going to be fine, and take advantage of how Taipei J team is a little bit too comfortable with their lead.
a little too comfortable. If anything, too, this is a gutsy call coming out from Resurgence to try and make this one work. Oh, no, I didn't need to see that. I did not need to see that, observers. Why would you do it to a man like that? Raven did have the shockwave.
Oh, no. Well, it still worked out. They managed to eliminate Lil V, I suppose. But yeah, it's stuff like that that will really, really count as the game progresses when they fight us 5v5s. Because, okay, so far, RSG has won 2 fights. Scariest thing, Rest was not around throughout the whole duration of the fight. He still has his 10 stacks, he still has his stopwatch, and if there's a perfectly placed flanking ward, it might spell doom for the rest of RSG if Taipei J team is allowed to find that opening.
Yeah, Rest now. He's been able to win the Magi's war between him and ST, as he's currently at 10 stacks himself. Yeah. This game is a little bit of an enigma itself. You have to question what you are seeing come out here from both of these squads. I feel like Taipei J team, maybe they're getting a little bit too disrespectful. And now, I'm not going to say, if anything, I think Shensekai is being a little disrespectful. I'll give credit to this Jace, though. He's actually on par with CS, and I bet he isn't worth that much gold when he's getting killed now. So I'm just saying, this might be the play.
Yeah, that definitely might be the play, and having to be distracto duty for Rest in the side lanes, again, because the less the Rest is going to be present in the fights, the more chances of RSG going to be winning the 4v4. Because it's, again, their 4v4 is very, very strong. In the meantime, though, it seems to be Taipei J team has managed to take a breather and is now waiting for the prime target now this time, as 10 seconds on the clock for the next Ocean Drake to spawn.
Well, we'll see here is now Resurgence with a little bit of a hop in their step, a skip in their boots. They've been able to close back down this goalie to about 4,000, but Taipei J team already take down the Dragon pretty fast, as Lil V has 70% crit. He's able to rip that apart. And now maybe looking for a play in mid lane. In comes the Nunu. You know what's coming. But instead, they're just going to go ahead and back off and go around the corner. The ultimate counter when it comes to going up against Nunu. And Hana, he's 3 levels down, but in comes Rest once again. He's got Flash available if he wants to go for it. Instead, he opts not to.
Okay, a little bit of restraint now, as I feel like, he already consumed the Proto Belt, did have Flash, did have the Slicing Maelstrom, but it's A-okay because, again, RSG's composition is also great in punishing any sort of too aggressive plays from Taipei J team, and now it seems to me that is the call. RSG is able to take a little bit of breather, and this will definitely help, as we can see, Quake is able to recover. Still, though, CSY is still up on top of the charts. But at the same time, not a lot of deaths happening already on RSG side.
Still, though, come on, let's think about this. 3,500 gold now separates the two teams. The thing that's looming over the horizon that Resurgence have to be careful of is,
this again.
Oh, my lord, Rest, come on. Come on. Just let the man be. He's still, he puts out the Soraka emote saying this is fine. Oh, my lord. It is a sitcom in the bot lane between Rest and Shensekai right now.
It's like the other lanes do not exist. It is just Rest and Shensekai playing their own Aram in the bottom side of the map. And it's just a 4v4 the rest of the maps of Summoner's Rift. And yeah, look at the score of the, Epic down towards Boxer. It's like they're having their own little game. So far, they've been winning most of the fights.
Most of the fights.
Yes,
that's the 0-7 Jace, by the way. I think the fights are very much in the favor right now of Taipei J team when it comes to him and Rest. On record, I think Rest has this matchup in his back bag. Shensekai is still going bot lane. I don't understand.
It's the plan.
It's the plan.
It's the plan. It's the plan to distract, because if Rest joins the rest of the members of Taipei J team, RSG doesn't stand a chance to make that wombo combo work anymore.
I'm still worried about the fact that this Sephiroth still has a full item above Quake, by the way, who has He has 3 kills actually on this Aphelios, above Lil V. There's just so much gold that was injected into this Aphelios so early on by the turret plating as well as just the turret gold that you're already at 200 years at 25 minutes.
It's the how much gold has been injected earlier on. Yeah, full plates on towards Lil V. After just one single engage from the duo, Quake and Boxer, after that it was a very peaceful lane. And again, it was Taipei JT managed to turn things around as well, therefore rendering RSG bot lane to be a little bit more hesitant when it comes to being more on the aggressive side of things. And now they're going to be more reactive now. As for Taipei J team, I mean for Resurgence, again, they don't have the lead in this game. It's very tough to watch.
Oh no. Hana, please. Let the man be.
He's just farming.
He's just and that's the prime target. All right.
Yeah.
Taipei J team. They have their eyes set onto Sensukai's side lane. Note here, though, Resurgence need another good Wombo combo team fight. In particular, the game is starting to close in a little bit closer. There's still that option. 1 minute on to Ocean Soul for Taipei J team if they wish to set it up.
And it's so scary when they meet at that Ocean Soul contest. You've got Lil V with a stopwatch. How will you be able to execute him? He has Cleanse, he has Flash, Zero pressure pre-dragon fight. RSG, though, at least they have the upper hand when it comes to positioning at this point of the game still, but they have to be a little bit careful. If Rest joins the fight, that's going to be a little bit tricky for RSG.
They're bringing down members toward Rest. Rest is saying, oh, you guys want to play? I don't mind playing. I don't have a Proto Belt right now. Also, that part of the map is pretty spooky for Taipei J team. I like that they are respecting this as Nest-T. He's looking to line up his bowling ball through the mid lane and come crashing on in. Hana looking for a flank here is going to run into Epic. In comes that bowling ball, like we mentioned. Resto on a big flank. In comes the cannon. Super speed. In comes Pikachu. Putting down the Thunderbolts as the Slicing Maelstrom able to find in onto its marks. And it's a double kill from the Nunu, popping down the ultimate as he pops the life bars of both Quake and Epic. And now Raven's going to join them in their graves. It's a bloody Nunu. It's a 3-man shockwave, but it doesn't matter. The shutdown goes over to Lil V.
And that's what we were afraid of, the flanking teleport plays from Rest, as he hasn't joined every single fight just yet. And when he did, RSG came up on top, and unfortunately, it's just Shinsekai alive as well as Boxer to try and get a defense on towards their base.
And Shinsekai, he tries to cut the wave. Boxer's left alone. Not a whole lot he can do himself. It is enough to stall things out as Shinsekai. This man, he might be 0-7, but he's able to save the game for Resurgence. Nest-T, he's got the speed. He is the pain train. All right. It's Choo-Choo coming in, pulling into the station. Shinsekai still missing out on all his abilities. Epic has respawned. Let's see if they can find it. Big steal needs to come through if they want to make it happen, but not going to be enough. It's near impossible to steal that one away from a Nunu. But speaking of that Nunu, there is your shutdown. They take it down, give it on over to Quake. 15-9 your kills, but Ocean Soul secured by Taipei J team.
Yeah, mission accomplished for Taipei J team, and now RSG is making a straight line towards Baron, as that's 30 seconds on the clock without Nest-T, no teleport. It's a 4v5.
Wait, are you serious? Is Resurgence about to get this Baron? Here we go. Rest has Flash. He has been able to sneak his way over. He's also got a Blast Cone. You know what's going to happen. Shockwave, though, able to find his mark, but the 3-man knockup into the backline, though, is Rest once more. And Pika, it's another Slicing Maelstrom. It's going to be a triple kill going in favor and a double kill for Lil V. Put up the white flags, Resurgence, as you're wiped across the map.
I was shocked. What a setup by Rest in behind the Baron pit. And unfortunately, even though if the Wombo combo is there, Rest is lying there and waiting. 25 stacks in mid-life.
And just like that, Taipei J team, After a little bit of a hiccup in that mid-game, a couple of good ultimate combos coming out from Resurgence, it's not going to be enough, and a dominated, heavy-handed, meme-filled victory for Taipei J Team.
Yeah, we've got our first ever victory pick on towards the Nunu mid, and whew, from start to finish, it was such a very fun match to watch. And again, Taipei J Team getting another point to solidify, their standing still when it comes to the rankings.
I don't even want a post-game interview. I don't want to know their thoughts, because I feel like they're just going to giggle and laugh like little children, because that was, oh boy.
Yeah, why did you pick Nunu mid?
Okay, to be fair, it's budget Galio, as I was talking to Debris during the break there. It's kind of budget Galio, so when that gets, banned out, ST can use it to make his way around the map. And, I think it's an omen when the first Nunu snowball comes running through the jungle, hits Shinsekai, and of all the people too, we talk about Shinsekai being kind of the punching bag when it comes to Resurgence, especially in side lanes. That's not the start you're looking for.
Yeah, definitely not the start. And we're going to take a look at the Baron plays, because this was the wombo combo that would have solidified RSG's composition. But take note, Rest had 25 max stacks on the Magi's and no threat whatsoever, as time and time again, he had to face Shinsekai, had to solo kill Shinsekai every single time they met in a side lane.
And there you go.
Look at the damage bar.
Damage bar, yes, is disgusting. That goal graph is actually disgusting too, because there was never a single point Resurgence had a gold lead.
And it all started with, again, Nesty and Hana making the plays across the map. And that one time where Resurgence wanted to contest that Rift Herald, Boxer just exploded, their main engage was gone, and they had to just concede.
Concede is the nice way of putting it here. MVP? Who do you think MVP is going to be? You think it's going to be the Nunu, or okay? No, we're just going to give it over to the Electric Boy himself. Rest is going to be the one picking that one up from the top lane performance on the cannon.
Yeah, after one visit from Hana in the top side of the map, Rest is able to be self-sufficient and solo kill and get a 2 birds in 1 stone kind of deal. Get that team fight rolling with the Thunder, and as well as shut down the Jace, which is very, very painful to watch, I gotta say.
Yeah, unfortunately, not a whole lot left to be done there on the side of Resurgence, and unfortunately now Resurgence are very much in a position where they need to win every single one of their games to have even a shot at making it into playoffs. Unfortunately, a loss here means they are going to be forced into, I think the best that they can get is, 5 wins overall, so definitely not in there. Of course, we're going to go ahead and take an interview with Nesty. He's always giggly and happy himself.
真的是一只很特别的角色，我甚至刚刚去查，是第一次就是赛区内选出这个角色。那可不可以跟我们分享一下这只角色的技巧？
Okay, so Nunu mid is a very special pick in the mid lane, and it is actually the first time in PCS that anyone chose it in the mid. Can you share with us, is there any trick playing it in the mid lane?
技巧就是你的雪球要能够把后排兵清掉，这样，然后清线会很快，然后会给对面很多压力，这样。
Okay, so the trick playing is that you have to clear the wave very fast because it helps you, and it will kill the waves really fast, and so it will give a lot of pressure to your opponent, and is a very easy champion to play.
OK， 那紧接着想要问就是，其实你们在中期好像是遇到一点乱流，在窄口被对方的 combo 给接到一波，那时候其实是没有想到会遇到那样子的危机嘛。
So during the mid game, you guys were in the red side jungle, and then in the red buff area, you guys met with Oriana and Misfortune's ult combo when you push your snowball in there. Did you expect that to happen, or did it happen without your noticing, or what?
其实我们赛前都知道他们的反开阵容很强，但是我们那个时候还是打得有点太嗨了吧，然后就一头栽进去，所以就给对面秀了机会这样。
So we actually knew that their skills are really strong at that point, but we were having too much fun, so we just went in without thinking too much, and we gave them a chance to beat us.
那接着你们要面对的对手是春季赛的冠军 PSG， 你们已经准备好战术了吗？
So you're going to be facing spring season's champion PSG next. Are you guys ready? And do you have any plans, strategies to play against them?
战术还是准备很多的吧，但我们最重要的重点还是以平常心去打，然后把团队的东西发挥出来，这样就好了。
So we did actually plan a lot of strategies, but the most part is that we have to play naturally and perform, level up our performance as we do normally in practices, and we'll do fine with that game.
那当然也恭喜你们拿下这场比赛胜利，也感谢方毅，也谢谢雀巢接受我们的访问。原来那一波的自己都讲，有一点
真的是打嗨了，
有点嗨了。
Okay, he was just having fun. They wanted to give Resurgence a chance. J-Team, you had all your fun. Pick it up together, because again, you are going up against the spring champions later today. Of course, that's going to be our matchup of the week. And though before that, they do get a little bit of a short break before we come back, though, it is going to be Machi taking on Alpha Esports.
CTBC Bank is Taiwan's top financial institution, but we're not stopping there. We're crafting an international brand and already have over 260 outlets in 14 countries. We are by your side, ready to embrace the future.